The meeting back to order. And would you rise, and Trinity, would you please lead us in the pledge? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Before you, there is an agenda, and I have no changes to the agenda.
Move to approve the agenda.
Is there a second? It's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Recognitions. Kim Councilman, please. Yep.
Hey, I'm happy to be able to start off this meeting this evening to recognize our associate graduates for this year. We have 4 associate graduates, and so I'll call all 4 of them forward, and then I'm going to go on to explain some of their plans and let the board ask any questions of them. I have Heath Hinkle, Lydia Jerry, Gabby McVeigh, and Trinity Schroyer. So I'm so proud of these 4 individuals. They'll be receiving their associate's degree this year. Heath Hinkle will graduate with 66 college credits. Lydia Jerry, 63. Gabby McVeigh, 61. And Trinity was 65. Heath Hinkle, he plans to go to Texas A&M and receive his bachelor's in chemical engineering. And his plan is to go into nuclear engineering career field. So congratulations, Heath. Lydia Jerry, she plans to go to Black Hills State University for her history education degree. And she's planning on majoring in secondary education in history and becoming a middle school history teacher. Gabby McVeigh, she plans to attend school and major in biology with hopes to attend medical school afterwards and receive her doctorate degree to practice neurology. And then Trinity Schroyer, she plans to attend Texas A&M and receive her bachelor's degree in forensic and investigative sciences. And she plans to become a forensic medical examiner. So congratulations again to these graduates. We also, I think, provided you with an invitation to our graduation ceremony, which will be held this coming Wednesday at 6:30 in the Crouch Auditorium.
Okay.
So thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations. Jill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and board, for letting us come before you tonight. I had, my list here on my phone. I certainly don't want to miss anyone, but we are just coming back, I guess, off the heels of a great week. Last week, we attended the Wyoming FFA State Convention down in Cheyenne. We had several teams compete. Some competed at previous contests before the actual week because they can't fit it all in 1 week. But to give you an idea of the scope of the Wyoming FFA Association, at the sessions, there was a total of 1,500 plus members. And then, of course, parents in attendance at those sessions. And so certainly a big showing on the FFA part and its, I guess, growth within the state. A lot of kids that participate. So to start off with, I guess two of the recognitions I want to start off with is two of our seniors here at Newcastle High School and out of the Saddle and Sirline FFA chapter were named state stars. They were originally went through a process and were selected as regional stars within our area of the state. And there are 4 divisions, but the 2 divisions that we were recognized in were geared more towards their supervised agricultural experiences, which tends to be either with their animals, or maybe they work for a business, but something ag-related. And so the first one I'd like to recognize tonight is the individual who won the state agriculture placement star. This is for his work and his time that he has put in learning on his family's ranch. He's a part of the operation, and so it's that placement within the ranch and his tracking of that he was recognized. So I'd like to have Tel Taviji stand up as this year's Wyoming State Star in agriculture placement. The next state star was Quint Perino. Quint, I'll have him stand as I'm talking. Quint was recognized. Sorry, yeah, I kind of went backwards there. Keep you on your toes. Quint was recognized for the Star Ag Farmer. This is for an individual who is considered in the entrepreneurship portion where he claims his own cattle, has his own income and expenses. And as they stated, he had tripled his herd size in cattle from his first year in FFA. And over the course of the 3.5 years, tripled his herd size. And the way he, I guess, with his production, his goals, and his, I guess, ultimately overall income and expense record keeping, he was found as the state star for this year. And the state star farmer. So that award is by all means the highest award that can be bestowed upon an FFA member in the state of Wyoming as an individual. So I know it was quite a big thing, not only to have one state star from our chapter, but to have 2 in 1 year was quite a feat. And so those 2 gentlemen I'm extremely proud of. So yes. The next thing, we had our horse judging team. This is a young team this year for the most part, but on it I had Brooke Martell, Brooklyn Benshoff, Callie Christensen, and Canyon Farnsworth. I have 2 of them were able to make it tonight, but their success, there are 42 teams that compete at state FFA convention. It is not broken down into class. It's big schools versus little schools. It doesn't matter. We're all in the same contest. And so 42 teams, over 168 contestants. Our horse judging team ended up 12th high team in performance horse judging, 13th high team in reasons, and 16th high team overall out of 42 teams. And 3 of them, it's their first time judging and learning to this whole process of the equine evaluation. Brooke Martell was high individual overall in the performance horse judging, and 5th high individual over the whole contest between judging and reasons. So that is a phenomenal feat on her part. So anyways, that was our horse team. So next, I'd like to recognize the vet science team. This team not only has to compete in identifying different tools and animals within vet science, but they also have to demonstrate actual veterinary procedures. And that team was JJ Lip, Taylor Crinclaw, Cole Weary, and Reagan Redding. And this team was 10th high overall on the test, 11th high team activity, 8th high team in ID, and 11th high team overall. This is an incredibly complicated contest, and so I'm very proud of them as well. All right, next I have the agronomy team. Team was made up Tel Tvg, Pate Tvg, Quint Perino, and Holden McConkey. If you guys can see. So the agronomy contest, another incredibly difficult contest. It doesn't necessarily have as many teams as the livestock and horse. However, they still ended up 5th high team on the test, 7th high team in grain grading and entomology, which is about like pests and bugs that affect crops. And then of course they were 8th high team overall. So they've been working hard to grow as a team and they had quite a successful year. So congratulations for that. Next we have for employment skills. This is an individual contest where it's simply, as it says, they compete in employment skills with an interview application process, like how to follow up on job interviews, and they go through quite a rigorous process. JJ Lip, thank you, was one who qualified for the finals, and the top 10 went to finals and competed at state. And JJ at the end was 6th high overall. So next I'd like to recognize my Green Hand Quiz Bowl competitors. So all of you that are present, Reagan Redding, Brooklyn Benshaw, Presley Fitzwater, Callie Christensen, those are the ones that are here. Ty Stiff, Brock Bergstrom, Kenyon Farnsworth, Charlie Bowles, Court Perino, all of them competed. Oh, Bryn Kilby and Caitlin Blumenthal. I did not want to leave them out. Competed in the Green Hand Quiz Bowl. And this is always fun because this is a tough competition per se, because these kids are new to FFA and learning all the history, learning everything that they can about what FFA stands for, and then take a quiz. And we came out 6th high team overall this year. So again, very proud of them and their efforts and their. Okay, I promise I'm winding down, but they've earned it, so I'm gonna let them have their moment. The livestock judging team. This was made up of JJ Lip, Ty Stith, Aiden Butler, and Reagan Redding. I have 2 of them that were able to make it tonight. This team overall, again, we have 1 senior who has led the team and been the main head coach of them, with 3 young members and several others that are learning and practicing along. So they did a phenomenal job. They were 14th high team in reasons, 13th high team in sheep judging and swine judging, and then 13th high team overall. JJ Lip was 11th high individual in swine judging and 11th high individual overall. So again, huge accomplishment on their part. Last but not least, I'd like to recognize my proficiency winners. This is where they compete. I had several finalists this year in the categories that they have as a supervised agricultural experience. And based on the categories, you'll understand, but they keep records on them continually each year. They set goals. They have to set standards. They have to report on how they're accomplishing those goals. There's a lot to the process, not only just actually doing the actual process with the animal, but the part of the record keeping, which I always think is important to all this. So I'd like to start off with recognizing our golds. These gold members now qualify to compete at the national level. They will actually compete in a regional first, and then if selected from there, they will go to the final 5 at nationals. But they are technically competing at the national level within our region. So this is a big feat. But I'd like to first start off by recognizing Tel Tvg for gold in beef production placement. And you can just stay standing, the gold. JJ Lip for gold beef production entrepreneurship. Cole Weary gold goat production placement. Next, I have Julie Morris, who was silver in swine production placement. She couldn't be here tonight, but she was silver. And next I have Pate Taviji, if you please stand. He was bronze in agriculture mechanics, metal fabrication, and bronze in the beef production placement. And last we had Brooke Martell, who was bronze in equine science placement. So, yeah. That is pretty much it. I was also awarded the Wyoming honorary state FFA degree, so I was excited to have been recognized for that as well. But once again, very proud of this chapter, very proud of everything that they do. What's that? Yes, thank you, JJ. This state degree, we had 3 that were also recognized for their Wyoming state degree. They start off having to earn their green hand degree as freshmen. There are rules and like requirements to meet the green hand degree, followed by the chapter degree. Then and each time things grow as far as the requirements, then there's the state degree, and then the only higher degree above that is the American degree. But we had 3 state degree recipients, and that again is Tel Taviji, Quint Perino, and Brooke Martell. So yeah. All right. I'll ask my president again, JJ, did I hit everything now? Thank you for catching that. All right. Thank you for your time. I appreciate your support of the FFA program.
Thank you, Jill. We'll take a small recess here to congratulate the degree earners and the FFA people, please.
I think we should split.
Split up? Why?
I want to meet new people. People who need me.
You new people? You're my left kidney.
You only need one of me, man. And you have 2. There are plenty of people out there who are dying because they don't have one.
Really?
You'll be giving the gift of life.
I could be a hero.
Yeah.
It's all win-win up here, buddy. Why don't you go and save a life, pal?
You're doing the right thing.
I'll call the meeting back to order. Are there any other recognitions? Yes. You got to talk through the microphone too.
Yeah, not from resources. Okay. Is this okay, Mr. Chair? On behalf of Jan Ellis, who is the Concert Association president, she would like you to know and recognize Leanna Whitney for her custodial work, not only opening and closing the event, but making sure that equipment is either available or can be found fairly quickly. And they have 6 of these concerts throughout the year, and they thought it was very important for you to understand exactly how much work goes into that. So I'd like to recognize Leanna Whitney.
Thank you.
We forgot to do that moment of silence too.
Here, give me the first name.
Pete or Mike? Mike, it's Mike. It was Mike. Okay, go ahead. Paul? It's Paul. Yeah, Paul.
So, Mr. Chair, if you would, I would ask for a moment of silence for Paul Wyrick. Paul worked in the district for several years. I would say somewhere between the 20 and 30 year mark, not knowing exactly that, but I would like to ask for a moment of silence and recognizing him for all of his years of service to Weston 1.
Thank you, everyone. Are there any other recognitions? Randy?
All right, I do have a few. First of all, I'd like to recognize the good citizens for this month: Michael Carter, Cameron Farella, and Eli Bonema. Also recognize Mrs. Whipple and the students for the great concerts that they put on this last week. I don't know if you were able to join us, but also Sally Hoover, she did all the technology behind the scenes. And I know that is kind of busy for her to run from, soccer and then in to help us. So it is appreciated. Also today we celebrated School Secretary Day. So obviously would like to recognize Dawn Williams. She kind of keeps us all running, but then also recognize CeeLo for keeping all of us running. So.
Thank you, Brandy. Bryce?
Thank you. I'd also like to recognize our high school secretaries, Diana Branscombe and Dottie Silty. Without them, my job would be exponentially more difficult. And so I thank them for keeping me in line and on schedule when I am in squirrel mode. So I really appreciate them. Also, I'd like to recognize our students that went to state art last week. How the state art judging goes is teachers from around the state are given ribbons to award to different pieces of artwork. And then there's 3 esteemed awards. One is the First Lady Award. And then the other is a 2D Congressional Award and then a 3D Congressional Award. The First Lady Award is chosen by the governor's wife and it hangs in the governor's mansion. We had one of those last year, but then the 2D and 3D Congressional Awards are chosen by a group of special judges from around the state. And so this year, Mrs. Marshall is pretty proud of how well our students did. Last year, our students submitted 50 items and 4 received ribbons. And this year they took 35 pieces of artwork and they won 11 ribbons. And so they went from about an 8% to a 30% success rate earning ribbons. So I thought that was pretty special to show that improvement and growth in our art program. The ribbon winners, Briley Toth brought home a blue ribbon. McKenna Humphrey also brought home a blue ribbon. Jessica Wildermuth brought home 5 blue ribbons. And then Elizabeth Rushton brought home 3 blue ribbons. And then she was also selected for the 2D Congressional ribbon by that panel of judges. So it's been a great year for Newcastle Art, I think. And this was a good way for them to cap it off last week.
Thank you. Congratulations for those. Any other recognitions? Yes, sir.
Yep, I would join in recognizing secretaries, and I would just tell you it's a funny story when the person that's responsible for all the appreciation recognition things and organizes those parties and gets the gifts and when you're trying to recognize them, it's not my strength. I'm just telling you. So I'm glad that we recognized her because that's what she does every other day of the year and gets everyone else the recognition they deserve. So shout out to Mary Rowland in our building. I would also, I think I've done this 100 times over the last few years, but I'm going to continue to recognize Taylor Borgelli for her help with federal grants. I learned that Excel spreadsheets, if you just keep going to the right, there's more and more columns. And they start with another combo of letters and everything else. And I learned that because WDE required us to fill out a spreadsheet that went on to infinity, and it wouldn't have got done if it wasn't for Taylor. So I would recognize her again. And then I know you guys got to see our science students last time we were together, but it's not every time we send middle school students to national competitions. So I would just say good luck to Mrs. McCormick, Dr. Colgrove, and their 5 students. They will head out at 3 a.m. this evening or this morning, depending on how you look at that, but they're headed to DC for the national competition.
Thank you. Congratulations to them. Any other recognitions? Okay. We're up to visitors' comments. Jade, you like to?
Thanks, Bryce. Good evening. If you don't know me, I'm Jade Harrington. I wanted to thank you all for allowing me to speak tonight. I want to thank those that reached out to me in the last 2 weeks regarding my emails. Taking time out of your day to respond to me means a lot. As I stated in my email on April 12th, Superintendent LaCroix brought up the 4-day school week and how things would look. Somebody asked how it would look for those whom are taking concurrent and dual credits. At which point, Mr. Hoffman pointed out that they would have to get creative with things, especially on behalf of those science credits. And those students who are doing those classes would have to take not one, but 3 classes during the summer in a 4-day school week. I'm a very driven and determined student, and I will say that as a junior, I have taken that one summer class, and it was pure torture. When taking these summer classes, the teachers at EWC pile on the work, are hard to reach, and sometimes they just don't answer you. In my case, I was gone for a week for my class for a basketball camp. I had asked my professor in a week advance to allow me to work ahead, and she never responded until the Thursday of that week. I was gone. This meant I had to take my computer and books with me to work and study, while in reality, I should have been bonding and having fun with my teammates. I personally do not agree with summer classes. When are kids able to do kid things? This is also the same summer I worked 40-hour weeks, radioed, played basketball, and was in the weight room most mornings before 6 a.m. As an athlete, I am all for the 4-day week. Heck, I would like to not miss school or have to make up the work that goes along with that when traveling. Therefore, as a student, I also believe that we are here for schoolwork. That is our main job, to be a student and not an athlete. I also would like to know if you have thought about those students with learning disabilities and how this will affect them. I know I have a sibling who's dyslexic, and I know that losing those days, hours of teacher contact time would be very detrimental to their education. Have you thought about that and how this might poorly affect those students? How many hours does this equate to in the year that those kids would be missing? As a district, I've listened to how important the state testings are, and how will this affect those? What will we do and help ensure to help those improve? You see, we shouldn't have to fix things that aren't broken. This 5-day school week has worked for many years and will continue to work until we don't have to get creative in making a 4-day school week work. All I ask is when you as a board decide to vote on this, you think about the students and what are the reasons you are all here. As of right now, I have said to some of you in our conversations, I believe our district has much larger problems than a 4-day school week. Shoot, why not start with the numerous positions that we have open and still need to fill for the next school year? Well, on Facebook last night, there was a Lusk parent who posted how their athletic program has changed due to a 4-day school week. In Lusk, they have made it so their kids cannot attend athletic or other activities outside of their normal 4-day school week, which means their athletics are either being pushed back to a later start time or they're not able to attend at all. And I think that's really detrimental, as, we had the FFA here and look at how well they were able to succeed, and think of state art and the other groups that are gone during that week. How is that going to affect them? Again, thank you for your time and allowing me to speak. If you have questions for me, I'd be happy to answer them to my best ability.
So in your opinion, you're not for the 4-day week?
No, sir.
Okay. Just want to make that clear. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you, Jade. Doug Scribner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome.
I just wanted to say a quick thank you for approving the assistant track position. I know Mike and Chad have been big advocates of that since last year when I started volunteering. I got into coaching and have enjoyed it, and I enjoy working with the kids and helping them to develop their talent. And so I just want to thank Chad and Brett and Mike for advocating for that, and for the board for listening to that and approving that. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Are there any other visitor comments? Any up there? Oh. Okay, we'll move on then. Before you have the consent agenda. Could I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. There is no old business, so we'll move on to new business. Classified resignation, Brad?
Chair. Mr. Chair, I would recommend to the board the resignation of Dave Taylor as a bus route driver and permission to vote.
Move to approve.
Been moved and seconded to approve the resignation of David Taylor as a bus route driver and post the position. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Another classified resignation, Brad.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I would recommend to the board the resignation and retirement. I'm actually pretty happy today because today is his last day of work and tomorrow is his first day of a new life. Stephen Schmidt as a custodian and permission to vote.
Is there a motion?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the resignation of Stephen Schmidt as a custodian and to post the position. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. The 2023-2024 directors classified staff list. Brad?
Yes, so in your packet, presented, we have the list of the directors and the classified staff list. And I would recommend the approval of those for the 23-24.
Move to approve. Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the 2023-2024 directors and classified staff list. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. A certified recommendation?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I would recommend to you Peyton Watt as an elementary PE/health teacher.
Is there a motion?
I'll move to approve.
It's been moved and seconded to approve Peyton Watt to be the elementary PE health teacher. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Certified recommendation.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I would recommend to the board Nicholas Peterson, as the new high school science teacher and also track and field assistant coach.
Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve Nicholas Peterson as a high school science teacher and a high school track and field assistant coach. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Change of board meeting dates. Brad?
Yes, Mr. Chair, if you would please excuse the May 9th, 10th one. The May 10th board meeting will work just fine. Things have changed. However, I was wondering if the board would entertain changing the June 14th meeting to either June 28th or another date. Anytime before and not during my daughter's wedding. Yeah. A lot of things that can happen bad in Mexico, and I don't want to be one of them.
What dates are you recommending the 28th, Brad?
I would ask for the 28th, but if there's another date that works better for the group, I would try to put that as well.
You're gone, Dana? And I'm gone. I know that. You're gone too? Wow.
About the 7th.
Would the 7th work for everybody? You're gone? How about we just don't have a meeting in June? No. What day are you leaving on, Brad? Do you know? Are you gonna be around at any time that week, the 7th week at the 7th? You got either one? Okay.
I am gone from the 12th to the 23rd.
No, we don't have to do it on a Wednesday. But Brad will be gone.
But truly, I'm sure that, I mean, there's plenty of people that, on the superintendent side here, that if they're comfortable. I mean, the June one generally is not a big, crisis meeting like you do. I mean, the July meeting is always bigger because of budgets. I mean, that's set by big statute.
Everybody would be here on the 14th? Would you be here, Paul, on the 14th? We could leave it as the 14th, and then if we see something different for the 10th, we might change it. Would that be okay?
So then the only one that we need to really make the motion on, if you would, is to go back to your original plan and not have the board meeting on the May 9th, but move it back to the meeting.
I move to approve 10. Second.
Been moved and seconded to have the board meeting on May 10th. That way we can all attend the FFA banquet on the 9th. Any discussion on that? All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carried. So we will have a meeting on May 10th and probably before. I guess permission to go out for bids for the middle school HVAC.
Yeah, so I would ask for permission to go out for the middle school HVAC air filtration upgrade. And just to let everybody know that this would be ESSER through funding that would make that project possible.
It's been moved and seconded to go out for bids for the middle school HVAC and air filtration upgrades to the middle school. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Future planning. We went through some of that with executive session tonight, but we're not ready to make a decision. So May 3rd is graduation for the. Would May 2nd or May 4th work for everybody or not? And then we could approve that so Angie could get her preliminary budget. What's that? Would that work for everybody? Either one of those dates? You be working?
May 2nd. May 3rd is what I'm saying.
We're looking at May 2nd or May 4th.
May 2nd, we've got 3 plays or your big thing. Yeah. But that, I mean, which I will invite you to later and you received an invite.
May 4th? You know, that's,
We don't have to schedule around Greek plays either. They're my favorite thing we do, guys. But I mean,
isn't that Star Wars Day? May the 4th be with you. Yeah. So May 4th at 7 o'clock. Could I have a motion to that effect?
Second.
Been moved and seconded to have a special meeting May 4th at 7 o'clock to talk about future agenda items or future planning. Any discussion? Any more discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. I guess we're up to reports. And Gabby, we're going to let you go first tonight.
All right. Oh, is it working? No. I don't have much tonight for my board report.
All I have is that our blood drive was postponed to May 10th due to weather issues. So we will be having that May 10th from 10 to 2 in the high school library, and that is open to everybody. Once again, please come donate blood, save a life. And then another thing, we also have completed our elections. I will be giving a full elections report next meeting since we are still in debate over 2 positions in the junior class. However, that is all I have tonight.
Okay, any questions for Gabby? Thank you, Gabby. Tyler, would you like to go next?
And I would like to invite you guys to the Greek Plays on Tuesday, May 2nd. Also would invite you guys to Colonial Night on Monday, May 8th. Both of those things have kind of become traditions at the middle school. And of course, you guys are welcome to attend. The public's welcome to attend and all that stuff. Otherwise, we're white-top testing and it's crazy. And unless you guys have questions, that's it.
What times?
Time on the 8th, Colonial Night. That starts right at 4. We do our little dry run in the afternoon. We go from 4 to 5:30 for Colonial Night, and then Greek Plays are at 6 in the auditorium.
Okay.
And really, it's one of the cooler things we do. If you haven't done it, come watch. It's funny. The kids write the scripts, they act it out. There's sounds, there's props. It's a whole thing.
Okay. Thank you, Tyler.
Thank you.
Sonia, you want to go next? Teresa, did you want to go now?
It doesn't matter.
It's up to you.
I did send some information. On behalf of the homeschoolers, they wanted to thank the board and the school for allowing us to have our play. There was like 400 people that attended over a 2-day thing. And my son personally he was upset about the newspaper because he was misquoted. I don't know if anybody read the newspaper, but he was misquoted and the whole play was not written correctly, but that's beside the point. But they were really appreciative, and I wanted to give a shout out for Sally and custodial staff for even unlocking. I was there most of the time, but there was a couple of times people had to get in early to set up stuff. So anyway, I don't know where we want to put this, but
Right here. Give it to.
oh, there you go.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, he's gone. And then an update on the ramps. They did send me some new sticky pads, and maintenance is working on, you have to put pressure on them on that. We're hoping that that'll hold it. The other alternative is to actually purchase plated ones. Greg says that should be under warranty, but I don't know because it's a different apparatus. It's about $800 more. So we're looking into that, but I'm hoping that the black skid pads are staying on. It was the bright yellow ones. So, and then we'll get it into the pool and test it out before we open it for the public. And then, did you guys have any questions for me? Oh, and swim lessons. We had 42 kids. It's about $1,660 in revenue. The public is really happy to try to get a couple lessons besides just, summer. So I'm trying to do that. I can't always do it, but just because of staffing, hard to get kids. But anyway, so that went really well. And that's it. Anybody have any questions?
Thank you.
Thanks.
Now, Sonia.
Thanks. Thanks, Mr. Chair. Just a couple quick updates. I would say that the federal grants, consolidated grant at least, is open. So that paperwork will be started. We also have a consolidated grant public meeting on May 8th, I believe, at 4 o'clock in the auditorium, or I mean, in the commons area. Oh, no, here. See, I'm just all messed up. So here at 4 o'clock on May 8th, I would welcome everybody to come so they can listen and sign their name on, just for information and compliance as well. And lastly, we are up for accreditation next year. So that means it's going to be kind of a crunched summer and fall because it is scheduled. We got that confirmation for the beginning of October. So really gonna miss Dottie about that time. So anyway, that's all I have unless you have questions for me.
Any questions for Sonia? Thank you, Sonia.
Thank you.
Angie, did you have anything else?
I don't have anything,
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
Karen?
I don't have a report for tonight.
Okay. Randy?
I don't either. We're wide topping, so.
Okay. Bryce?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. No lengthy report, but it is the prom this week. So lots of learning going on in the high school as they prepare for that. No, they're doing a great job. They, if you all remember last year, you know, the blizzard that we pulled prom down on Wednesday and set it back up. They have a nice setup so far. I can't even remember what it's called, but they've used a lot of lawn barrier to decorate and create the ceiling of the prom, and so it's looking very good so far, and the group has a great vision, so should be a nice event.
Thank you. Any questions for Brian? Thank you. Brad? Oh, who we missed? Oh, I didn't see you. Sorry, Kim.
That's all right.
It's usually Sonia that hides, not.
I just had one other thing I wanted to report on tonight. Every year I provide Dottie and Bryce and Brad with information with our seniors and total number of credits that they receive for the duration of their high school career. So I just wanted to report the total number of college credits received by all seniors at the end of this year is 1,047 credit hours, with a cost saving of $126,687.
Wow.
So I just wanted to report that tonight.
Thank you, Kim.
Thank you.
Any questions for Kim? What are you doing with the money? No. Brad, did you have any reports?
They're on there. Thank you.
Did any board members have a report? What's that?
I'll report next time.
Okay. Sorry, Bo. You blend in over there with Tyler. At this point in time, I would like to ask to go into executive session for student issues under Wyoming Statute 16-4-405 A and I. Is there a motion to that effect? It's been moved and seconded to go into executive session to discuss student issues under Wyoming Statute. I hope this is right. 16-4-405 little a, little I. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Future agenda items, we have the third quarter financial report. Actually, we have the we'll have the preliminary budget on the 10th, right, of May? Wow, you got a lot.
Terrible busy.
Okay, we're in future agenda items. I guess for future agenda items, also, I would like to put on May 10th, the board evaluation, since we're missing two of them, to do it then. Well, everybody, except for you won't be here, huh, Joe? Well, is that okay with the board? Or you,
Do you want to go over it next meeting?
the 10th, yep. And we'll start at 6 o'clock. Yeah, well, we need to vote on it first because I'm changing the agenda a little bit just because of the time. Sean said he needed to get some sleep. I don't care. Oh. Is it, if I could have a motion to go over the board evaluations,
I move to go over the board evaluations on May 10th at 6 o'clock.
and that would be an executive session. That would be an executive session. Yep. I don't either, but it's. Is there a second? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. We're up to the 4-day school week.
So, Mr. Chair, just real quick, I was just going to update everybody. So last week, for 3 days, I was able to be around the soups, and quite a few of them have gone to the 4-day week. I think one of the things that I think we need to do is, I'm not sure it's a 4-day week as much as it's a calendar that might better fit our needs, i.e., how do you address activities? How do you address dual and concurrent credit? What are the things that are sacred to us that we don't want to change? What are the things that are more forgiving? Because really what it comes down to is our schedule needs to be aligned so that we can start using people on the same kinds of schedules, so that if we start having staffing issues, right now today, you're fully certified staff for next year. So that's about as good as life gets with a certified. Classified, we got a lot of work to do. But with that, what I'm running into is this, is so for years, as I've told people, this is what you got to watch out for. Well, now they're coming back and actually saying, well, I didn't know this was going to happen with the hourly people. I didn't know I was going to have 3 summer classes. I didn't realize we were going to have to switch blocks, all those kinds of things. But again, I think your calendar really should try to emphasize your ideas of maximizing your learning opportunities, and not just activities, or not just this, or not whatever. Again, and Jay just said it. You know what? If you're on a 4-day week and you looked at FFA and art last week alone, you're down to a 1-day week. I mean, that's just what can happen. And I will tell you right now, for 30 years, you are not going to change the activities that are FBLA, FCCLA, all of those. I mean, they have to go out of the way of other activities because so many of those kids are in duals. So they're going to go Monday, Tuesday. Cross country is not going to take up a golf course on Saturday unless it's the state event. So a lot of what we offer, and we do offer a great deal for as small as we are. When you throw in swimming, cross country, soccer, track, all those things, I mean, we're really competing for students anyway. And then when you start trying to say, well, nobody Nobody's ever going to leave before 4 o'clock Monday through Thursday. And then look at what happened with our wrestlers. Brad LaCroix is not going to be the guy that's going to stand up and say, no, due to the 4-day week, our wrestlers are going to wait. And by God, if they don't make it, they don't get to wrestle. That's not fair to kids. You don't want to put kids in that spot. So what I'm trying to tell you is I'm a little confused. Am I moving? Am I not moving? What does the board need from us as far as a direction course of the 4-day week? And that's not a fair question tonight when we're missing board members either, but it is, I mean, not that we're that busy. I don't want to hide behind that. I mean, everyone's busy. If it's a priority for the board to get it done, we'll make it a priority. But if it isn't, I just need to know, because it is a time commitment. And again, I'm starting to hear from more people now that are arguing against what I've been arguing for 10 years. So you get a little confused when people start to agree with you. What do you want me to do?
We go 4-day school week, we go year round. I would tell you there is a drawback to year round, although truly many of our young people really are year round, with the summer schools, academic recovery, trying to take the dual concurrent credit. I mean, we never really shut down around here. But I would tell you the biggest problem with a year round is what months are you going to take off? Who's on different tracks? Now, we did it in California. We didn't have space. We didn't have enough room in the classroom. So there was always 1/4 of your students and your staff gone. Now, remember, one elementary school was 1,500 students. So you're really, those are apples and oranges.
This is what I'm hearing, this is kind of how I see it. We go to a 4-day school week. We're already talking about, we got some challenged kids. So there's going to be Friday, Saturday, Sunday that they're not going to have a teacher. Now, another thing I hear is from staff and teachers, if the students aren't going to be in the classroom on Friday, why do we have to be? I mean, that's some of the stuff that I'm hearing. So.
Tina?
So from what we've heard from the staff for the last couple of years, the reason that they'd still need to be here is because they asked for time without the students to prepare and to collaborate and to prepare and collaborate. I guess I'll leave it at that, but that's really what they've asked for. And that's what they were saying they wanted the 4-day week for. So.
Well, but truly, as I look through the applications that have submitted, so the reason that you're going to increase your student achievement is your teachers are going to have more time to prepare, more time to get all of the stuff, i.e. letters, training, BBY, all the state mandates, all of those kinds of things. So it's that time to do that without the students being in the way. But then again, I mean, here we go. So if I have to be at work and my kids are at home, now I have a daycare issue. Yeah. And I agree. And I know other towns and districts have done it. It can be done. I'm not arguing that. I just need to know, how do you need the leadership team to move forward with this?
Okay, so after talking to Mrs. Pazinski at the elementary, why do we have Custer, Upton, and I don't know about Lusk, but those two reaching out to us to ask us how we do our program on a 5-day. Now they're a 4-day. I mean, why are they reaching out to us? Do we have something different? Is it because of the extra day, or is it because they don't have an extra day? I'm just trying to figure all this out, guys. So I just need a little help.
So guys, I think that's sort of the thing that worries me, is a lot of things that I think we have are very, very, very good. Are there things that we can improve on? Absolutely. But the reason those people are coming here is the same reason our staff is stressed. These programs, you're not going to see anywhere else. You're not. The Air Force Base that came over here, heck, they referred to it as Disneyland. I mean, they could not believe that people, number one, worked that hard, worked in collaboration, and really looked at all students. I don't know for sure, but I think we may, I wish Kim was still here. I think we're the smallest school that can offer the dual diploma. If you don't have a partner to do that with, it doesn't get done. And a lot of those towns that even have colleges within their city, it doesn't get done because there's not the collaboration. I mean, that's a lot of work. And again, it's not for everybody. I would openly admit it is a tough road. I had one student, I had one child that made it, and I had another one that activities got in the way. We had to choose. That's just what you have to look at. But I think really as we look at things, you look at teachers, you look at programs, we're trying to hang on, but we know, I mean, we were there last year for 6 weeks with Woods. We really thought that that was going to be the end of the Woods program. We couldn't find a teacher. There it goes. You could be in that situation with a coach. I mean, let's face it, you could be. I really think the whole, again, I'm going to come back to this. Your purpose of your calendar should try to reflect what is the needs of your students and the student learning environment the best. And if it's 4 days, it's 4 days. If it's 4.5 days, I mean, we're really a 4.5 day week right now. And I think it does work. I think it allows some things. Do we get to share staff as much as we should? No, because one school's block and the other schools are 7-period days. Makes it awkward. But again, you have, I'm going to borrow a comment way back when. We are a 2A size school with a 3A activity offering. That's great for kids. But when your student numbers go down, everyone starts fighting for the same kids. And your kids that are in dual and concurrent are usually very motivated, very driven. Why are activities so important for kids? Because they're going to need to keep their grades up, to keep the eligibility. And the only reason I'm here is because I want to play football. Yep, I'm going to make the other stuff work because I'm going to play football. That's key. When you look at a student, I'm not the expert with students with disabilities. Taryn really is, but I don't think that would help them at all, one less day. In fact, I would say, here's my school improvement plan if I don't get better with my test scores, which were a big topic in November. I'm going to add an extra day in the calendar because I need more time. Duh. Really? I mean, that can't be the earth-shattering news of the day. And again, we're prisoners of time because it's what we do with time. You get somebody that really, you get somebody that's spot on. You have guys in your business that can do 20 minutes of work that takes another person 20 hours. We all have them. And so truly, if it's really efficient, if I had 20 Jades in my math class, I probably could teach math. Now, if you had Brad LaCroix's in your math classroom, it ain't going to go very well. And so that's what these guys have to balance. I just really don't know exactly what the purpose and the drive always is behind the 4-day week. Truly, if the main reason is recruitment for staff, so nobody works on Friday, kids stay at home, staff stays at home, Does that help you with your recruiting? Maybe.
So you guys started these conversations last year, right?
I've had this conversation.
This conversation a long time ago.
Oh, a long time.
Oh, this is the fourth time, yeah.
Right after we finished Mount Rushmore and started on Crazy Horse, somewhere in between there. And really, it's the Crazy Horse Monument. I mean, we're sort of stuck. Staff says, well, before we make the switch, we want to go to these schools that have made the jump and learn. I think that's great. But then again, I think you'll see something different from Custer to Lusk to Sundance to Hewlett. I don't think they have everything that we have to offer. I think, I really do, and I'm biased to this, but I think overall, when our kids walk out of here, if they apply themselves, there's nothing they can do. Now, some of them are a little slow matures, and they'll figure it out eventually, but it's not an academic thing that'll get in the way. It's a work ethic thing.
Here, I'm gonna add one more thing. So this is what worries, okay, this is what worries me when Kim got up and told us total of 1,047 credits saved us $126,687. Now, if we go to a 4-day school week, I don't see that number being there.
No. I guess my only question to the board, and it's the same question, I keep asking it. How does this going to a 4-day week benefit the educational needs of our children? And I, ever since I've been on the board, I've always heard to have great education, you got to put great teachers in front of students, but students have to be in the classroom. And I think a lot of it, we're talking about high school students. And they are active. They're out for sports, they're activities. And I see that. And usually the ones that are out for activities and sports, and they keep their grades up. They have to, or they don't get to participate in that. What about the elementary kid? What about the kindergartner? I remember when I went to school, it was a half a day, and part of that was taking a nap and drinking milk. That's what we did. And when they move to the full day, them poor kids won't be able to last. They won't be able to do anything. Them kindergartners today probably know more than I did in 4th grade. And so I think we take a day away from them. That's a little tougher for mom and dad or grandma or who's ever watching the kids to take care of. It really is. And let alone the teacher, and so I still haven't got the answer to my question. I don't know how this is going to benefit the education of children. And I think young people like Jade and some of the others that were in this room tonight, there's not a problem getting an education. They're motivated, they're going to go out and do it. And they will. And I believe that. But I just don't know what it's going to do for children. And that's the sign right behind me. Paul, did you have?
Well, I've talked to a lot of the administrators, and if I'm speaking out of turn, let me know, because I'm sure if I'm not telling the truth, somebody in this room will call me on it. I haven't talked to one administrator that wants a 4-day school week, and I don't think this school board has the will to force them to. So let's just be honest and say status quo. We're done with the surveys. We're done with the outreach. We're going to stay with the 5-day. Let's just do that and be done. Save the time, save the hassle. Then we don't have to waste any more time with this nonsense. We'll just be honest. We're done. It's going to be a 5-day. Everybody's on the same page. And if you don't like it, well, do something different.
Is that a motion to stop the 4-day? I mean,
if that's what it takes to move on and save time, I guess then that's what we need to do. I'm not going to make the motion, but I think as a board, that would be the right, honest thing to do.
Okay. Do you have, is there a motion to do that? Is there a motion? I mean, I'm not for the 4-day school week. I'll tell you that right now. Right now, as far as what I know, I'm not for it. I can't support that at this point in time. Yeah, go ahead, Tyler.
So just try to give you guys a more concrete example of this and like how it would affect the middle school. So 4 years ago, right before I got hired, Brad and I are sitting in a room. We're hearing from middle school teachers and we're hearing about concerns with kids' character and integrity and leadership and making good choices and these kind of things. I think you heard a little bit about that tonight in other settings here tonight. And so back then we said, okay, we got to do something about that. And so I'm not saying it's earth shattering. I'm not saying it's solving all the problems, but that's where advisory and habitudes and some of those things that some of you guys know a little more about, where we're taking time to go there and have small group discussions with teachers and go through these lessons and try to have some sort of impact even beyond white top scores. That happens on Fridays. And I'm here to tell you, if I go to a 4-day week, I don't see where it fits in to our calendar. You need to see concrete things where it's a trade-off and you guys can do whatever you want, but you can't do everything that you want. And so our staff, we've already had that discussion of, all right, we're going to do literacy interventions and math interventions, and we're going to teach all our subjects, and we're still going to shoehorn this in there somewhere. No, we're not. I mean, and that's, again, that's the choice that we have in front of us, but you need to see some concrete examples of what goes away when you take days away with kids, if that makes sense.
Tina?
It's no secret that I'm not a proponent of the 4-day week and I never have been. I've never been. I agree with you. I don't think that a 4-day week is I don't see how our scores are going to get better with less time. I mean, I don't think that our math program is going to thrive with less time in front of teachers. I just don't see how that's going to happen. And I've heard the idea that recruitment and retainment of teachers, and I do understand that, and I hear that. I would rather find other ways to do that. I just would. Because again, what does this do for kids? I mean, if we're going to do it because we're trying to retain teachers, what does that do for the kids? I don't understand where I don't know what that's going to do for them. And my other big reason is that I feel like with our community, in some ways we're in crisis, and I think this is, despite of things that have happened recently, I still think this is the safest place for them to be, period. Safest place physically, safest place emotionally. And so I just feel like taking one day away from them isn't the best thing for kids. And for me, I mean, I think we're all tasked with making the best decision for everybody in our district, not just a group of high flyers that can do it. I mean, I think it's for everybody. And it's not just for the kids that are in sports, that are in high school. It's for all of our kids. And so I would be ready to make a motion tonight, but here's the thing. Everybody wants to be transparent. I know that there are at least one and possibly two people that are in favor of the 4-day week that are not here tonight. And I think I would rather do that and make that motion when everybody is here, hearing the same thing, and everybody's able to vote, because that'll be one more thing that people will say, you did that on purpose. You snuck that in there. There wasn't an actual vote on the agenda.
It's just a discussion on it.
And so I just feel like, but I would be ready to do that. I mean, if we put it on the agenda again, I would be ready to do that again, or I would be ready to do that.
Did you have something?
That's what I was going to say.
Say the same thing. I think when it was brought up, I think it was probably a good thing to look at, but in the past
month and a half. I think we have a lot of other issues we need to be looking forward to, and at not a 4-day school week, in my personal opinion.
Bill, please.
I'll try to make this short. I've talked to a lot of people about this. I'm probably against the 4-day school week for a little bit different, but same thing as a lot of other people. My first concern here is high school education. What are we doing best to high school educate these kids? What's it teach a kid after they leave here? 4-day work week. I mean, a lot of us don't get that privilege in our life. That's the number one concern of mine. Sports aside, that's an extracurricular. I'm a big sports guy, so I love that part of it, but sports is not my consideration. I'm sorry, the college credits are not mine either. That's not my consideration on my choice for this. My choice is purely based on what we're doing to educate our kids. I wasn't for getting rid of homework in the elementary school. I mean, that was my family time. That's what I sat down and did with my kid and my wife for our family time. I'd be curious to see what not having homework in elementary school did for kids' Y-top tests in the middle school. I do think you're right that this is, I don't want to say becoming a waste of time, because I think it's a big discussion. I think another thing we do still need to think about, even if you're against it, it seems pretty overwhelming. The surveys say everybody wants it. That's my one thing that's really holding me up, is it seems pretty overwhelming. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe. Anybody else? One more thing.
One more thing. Sorry.
10th.
Okay, 10th. Okay, great. Have we thought about doing 4 full and then doing Friday 1:30? I know we've been doing it, but we also been doing where we get days out too, right? I mean, days off on Fridays, and then sometimes we do 1:30. I don't know. I'm trying to keep track of everything, but yeah, do a 4-day and then do 1:30 on Fridays. I mean, would that help? I don't know. I'm just trying to reason with people here. So
Well, that's where we're at kind of right now, isn't it?
no, we want
If you go,
teachers and everybody. 1:30, be done.
go ahead.
So basically, a modified kind of high activity Fridays. You know, actually, we did that several years ago, and it was all based on that too.
What happened? Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Are you done, Brad? Oh, one more time, Tyler.
That's an option. That's when staff stays at 1:30, that is when PLC meetings happen, trainings happen, PD happens. Again, you prisoners of time, you can try to problem solve through that. But that's when staff does stay after. That's typically what's happening at that time. Just so that's clear.
Do we want to put it on the agenda for an action item next 10th? And I know Joe's going to be gone.
I'll do what I can. Great.
But do we want to put it on there for the agenda, action item? We don't need a motion for that. We'll just do it if that's what we want. Okay, it'll be put there. Let's go on to virtual school, Brad.
Yeah, just a quick update, because it is that time of evening. So still looking at getting some feedback. We have a meeting tomorrow at 1:00 with the Harmony Educational Services. Again, and the main focus here really is looking at, we do know student health still does not allow students to always come to our schools. Nationwide, I think there were 1 million students that left public education for an online. Again, I don't think it's for everybody, but when you look at distances traveled, health reasons, some safety concerns that have recently really become a very major stressor for families. My hope is here in the next meeting that I would bring a recommendation to you to try for 1 year an online K-12 virtual program. And actually, one of the things that we'll discuss tomorrow is we may actually have to do our computer science class, one class every day or every block schedule, just to try to fit the computer science standards. So again, if you have some time, it's Harmony Educational Services. It's online. I can have CeeLo again resend those links. The parents that have been able to look at it and got back, their biggest thing is until we really try one on, if it's good, we stay with it. If it's not, we switch. But there's just so many unknown factors at this time. So just to keep you abreast that I'm still working on that for the start of next school year. Again, K-12.
Thank you, Brad. Any questions for Brad on that? End of year celebration dates.
Okay, we're down to 1 day. So nobody likes the idea of the May 26th, 27th because of the Memorial Day break. June 3rd, there are several retirement parties planned. If you would like to go to the V, I would recommend to the board that the end of the year celebration for years of service pins and that would be June 2nd, which is a Friday. If you want to use the V. Now, if you want to look at another venue, I can do that. Most people always want to go to the V. And one more event on the calendar at that time of year. So what are the board's wishes?
Second work for everybody for the V. I guess we go second.
Make arrangements and also the catering of the.
Nothing left on the agenda. Meeting's adjourned.
I'll call Weston County Rec Board meeting to order. Agenda in front of them. Can I get a motion to approve it? Moved, approved, whatever. Second, been a long night. Second, to approve the agenda. Is there any discussion? Please say aye. Passes. On to visitors' comments, special programs. Action items, do I have a motion to approve? Moved in second. Is there any discussion? None, all in favor, please say aye. Motion passes. Declare old business, new business. I think you talked about the steps already, so. Okay, so seeing no old business, new business for information. I guess if you guys didn't hear that, Teresa did talk to the bike, the RASDAC people. So she has more information on that. Any discussion items?
Jason emailed me today, this afternoon, to be thinking about, the chamber had asked for donations for the firework display. And so he didn't know if the rec board wanted to donate or something. So just to discuss, and I don't know if he'll put it under new business, but that way you guys can be thinking about it since he's not on there.
Put it under new business on the next meeting, if that works with everybody.
We need to fill out that form so we know what they're requesting. Just a thought.
Who to get a hold of to get that paperwork to? I'll reach out to him and ask him. Jason, get a hold of him and get the paperwork to him. Okay, is there anything else we need to discuss? Meeting adjourned.